Okay, so let's get right into it. There is a huge amount of buzz swirling around Jamaica right now, and it's all about one thing: oil. And we're not talking about a small find here. We're talking about a potentially nation changing discovery. The big question is this the real deal, or is it just wishful thinking all over again? The number that's got everyone's attention is this one: 7 billion. That's 7 billion barrels of potential oil just sitting off Jamaica's coast. Now, to give you some perspective, think about what's been happening in Guyana. Their oil finds are completely rewriting the country's economic future. That's the scale of the prize we could be looking at here. It's world class. But, and this is a big but, here's the conflict at the heart of the story. On one side, you've got the dream, right? A dream of energy independence for Jamaica, no longer having to rely on expensive imports. The dream of a complete economic transformation. But on the other side, you have the cold, hard reality. Not a single commercially viable oil well has ever been drilled in Jamaican waters. Zero. So this is an incredibly high-risk gamble. So you might be asking, what's different this time? Why all the excitement now? Well, it all comes down to the science. For the very first time, surveyors have found actual, physical evidence that there is a working petroleum system out there. The big breakthrough is the discovery of something called thermogenic hydrocarbons. So what on earth is that? Well, they found gases like butane and pentane in samples from the seabed. Now, unlike something simple like methane, which can come from bacteria near the surface, these heavier gases are a whole different story. They're only created deep underground by intense heat and pressure. You know, the exact same process that cooks up commercial-grade oil? Finding this specific hydrocarbon fingerprint is a massive clue that a real oil source is lurking way down below. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Brian Larkin, who's the CEO of the company doing the exploring, United Oil and Gas, he confirmed it himself. He said, "We have identified butane and pentane hydrocarbons. These results provide an important input as we advance towards a drilling decision." So this takes it from just a good theory to something backed by physical proof. Okay, so the science is looking promising. That's great. But finding the clues is one thing. Actually paying to get the oil out of the ground, that is a whole other ballgame. So let's take a closer look at the company at the center of all this: United Oil and Gas, or UOG, and the pretty serious financial mountain they have to climb. And this is where that dose of reality really hits hard. According to their latest annual report, UOG had only about 800,000 US dollars in cash. But get this, their immediate bills just for the Jamaica project were already $1.3 million. So the math just doesn't add up. They're already underwater before they even start thinking about the astronomical cost of drilling a well. It actually gets even more serious. This warning comes directly from their own auditors. They wrote that a material uncertainty exists that may cast significant doubt on the ability to continue as a going concern. Now, in plain English, that's the professional, cautious way of saying this company could go bankrupt. Their very survival is on the line here. So, this brings us to what has to happen next. Because when you're sitting on a potential treasure chest but your pockets are empty, you need help. You need a partner with very deep pockets, and you need them yesterday. And believe me, this isn't a quick process. The absolute key to their survival is finding what the industry calls a farm-out partner. So what is that? It's basically a much larger company, think one of the big oil majors, that comes in, takes a piece of the project, and in return, they agree to foot the bill for the mind-bogglingly expensive drilling. So, for anyone in Jamaica wondering when they might actually see some benefit from all this, let's just be clear. The road ahead is incredibly long, and it's filled with massive hurdles. First, UOG has to actually land that farm-out partner. Then they need to raise over $60 million just to drill one single test well. After that, they have to actually drill it. And finally, that one well has to prove there's enough oil down there to be commercially viable. Every single one of those steps is a huge challenge in itself. And you know what? They're on the clock. This isn't an open-ended search. They have a hard deadline of November 2025 to find that partner and cover their costs. But even more critical is the final deadline. Their license to explore expires in January 2028. A well must be drilled by that date. If they miss it, they lose everything. The whole dream just vanishes. So, with all this hype flying around, what is the official word from the Jamaican government? Well, to put it mildly, they are pumping the brakes. Hard. Jamaica's Energy Minister Darrell Vaz really said it all. His official statement was, "I urge Jamaicans to be cautious and not get their expectations up as yet." He knows better than anyone that this is just the very, very beginning of a long and super uncertain road. Okay, so where does all of this leave Jamaica? You've basically got these two powerful, completely opposite stories playing out at the same time. Let's really weigh the potential future here by stacking up the huge risks against those incredible rewards. So on the risk side of the scale, you have a small, financially fragile company that's hanging on by a thread. You have a history of zero, not one, successful commercial wells in Jamaica. And you have a long, expensive, and difficult path ahead. But on the reward side, well, you have that jaw-dropping 7 billion barrel potential, the dream of energy independence, and an economic upside that could truly fundamentally reshape the entire country. Which leaves us with this one final crucial question. Will Jamaica's offshore gamble become its savior or its tombstone? Honestly, the science has never looked more promising, but the financial and logistical hurdles have never looked bigger. The next year or so is going to be absolutely critical in figuring out which way this story is going to go.